Hello friends, hope you're having an amazing 2021 so far. One of my New Year's resolution was buying a house, so along with that I decided to start a little series on home buying tips or things I learned while looking to buy a house. And it's actually a flat, and I keep saying house in every video. I don't have money for a house, but I have money for a flat. So today I wanted to look at a home report and see what I look for in buying a property. I chose a random property to have a look at, and I hope it's going to be interesting to see what you should be looking for in a home report, because I have been looking at this for maybe about a year, and I thought it would be useful to share the information with anyone else who might need it. On that note, I'm gonna let the future Vivi deal with the task of actually doing the hard work while I take a break and relax for a little bit. Okay, so I picked somewhat of a random flat, not quite a random flat. I picked a pretty flat that one of my friends kindly sent to me, and I just thought it's extremely beautiful. Like, I've never seen a more beautiful flat. I'm not gonna buy it because it's only one bedroom and I'm looking for 2 bedrooms. I think it's sold out already, but it does look really nice, so I thought this would be a good flat to have a look at their home report and see what's under the hood. I don't know how it's called, but like fancy English words that I don't know about. It looks very fancy. All the appliances, the kitchen sink, all of them look super great. It looks super sleek, super modern. I love that. My one that I put an offer in for really needs a lot of reconditioning, so this is really lovely. And also they were saying that they have underfloor heating, which is so cool. I've never seen a flat with underfloor heating. I don't know if that shows how poor I am, but like I don't know, I really love that. That was something that would have made me so excited to have this flat for. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not an interior designer, but I think it looks very pretty and very fancy. Has a little home tour, which I won't click because I know it makes a lot of noises, but also bathroom really fancy, looks really nice, love it. No bathtub, small disadvantage I suppose, but it is what it is. It looks pretty. We're into the hallway, and yeah, again, living room. I'm just showing you to have a view at the kind of flat we are looking at, and I think that's it. Well, yeah, they're coming with the breakfast. They're gonna make you breakfast as well, so that's really lovely. They really put effort into taking the pictures as well. Come on, are you serious? Just go to Tesco, put that in, take a picture, write that down. This is really fancy. I like that. So useful. I don't know if it has a dishwasher. Can you tell from the picture if it has? Actually, yeah, this might be a dishwasher. I look for things that don't have handles that could be pulled from the top, but all of them look like they could be pulled from the top. This is very confusing drawers. I don't know. Sometimes you can tell in old kitchens, new fancy kitchens, can't tell. Yeah, the lighting, I just think this is really nice because I wouldn't change anything personally to it. I wouldn't have to invest in much to change the decor because it looks so lovely, but it is what it is. Oh my god, someone labeled their stuff. Is this you? Did you do it? Well done. I'm so proud, so impressed. I want to be you when I grow up. And the building is like an old tenement building. I don't know what year it was built in, but we're gonna find out because we want to be nosy and know more about this flat if we want to make an offer. If this is the view, I am blown away completely, but I don't think it is. I'm quite confused on maybe oh no, it's just showing it's close to this area. You can walk here. Well, thanks, I appreciate it. Oh, McDonald's. Never mind, I'm getting sidetracked. And yeah, it was sold, but you can also get more details on the key features page, and this, you know how to read right moves. I don't need to show you how to read the right moves, but all the information is here. I'll probably put a link in the bio. I'll take a note to put a link in the bio to leave some information. You can also check these things like broadband speed and property sales history. There was no other history. This is offers over, so we're gonna look at the real value of the property and the estimates of how much it could go over. This is more of a guidance. I never take this. If they say over this offer, it's gonna be higher. The market value is gonna be higher. You can offer them this definitely, but I don't know if you'll have a chance. That's up to you. That's not something people can advise you exactly on. And these are other properties sold in the area. This blows my mind. 44,000. Oh my god, it's quite far away from the city center. It's quite outside Glasgow, so I should probably say that this is why it is so cheap. Okay, so let's go to the home report now. I feel like it would be a good idea to block the previous owners' names. I don't know why, it just feels weird. If it was my flat, I wouldn't want my name to appear in some random baby YouTubers videos and them reviewing my flat. Okay, so it starts with part 1. I'll just show you the most important parts for me, but we're gonna skim through all of it so you have an overview, but I'll just pinpoint like these are something that I care about personally. Of course, you might have different preferences, other people might look for something else, but I think generally like that's what I was told by my mortgage advisor and other people looking at home reports. So I'll just tell you what other people told me. Part 1, single survey, a report on the condition of property with categories being rated from 1 to 3. This is a part that I mostly look at, like this is one of my top things to look at, but we'll just check it once we get there. I'm going to have to quickly skim over the parts where it says details about the owner. And then all these other things that I kind of skim over, you can still read them, like you should read them if you are putting an offer from the flat, but it's terms and conditions that are quite generic, and once you read one, they're all kind of the same and it's not that big of a deal. I'm just going to highlight the most important things, or the things I think they're most important. So they are highlighting here, again, you don't need to read this every time, but these are the categories: no immediate actions or repair. This is ideal. We kind of want a lot of things in one. I prefer everything to be a 1. If there are some 2s, it's like places that require future attention, but it's not that bad. Then category 3, I personally stay away from that because it's going to be things that are quite safety hazards. So they are highlighting this to you, and this terms and conditions do give a very good overview of how to read the home report as well. So when you first read your first one, maybe read the terms and conditions if you can, please. I know everybody hates terms and conditions, but this is an important one. And then once we go down, what do we have? We have some details on the flat, information about the flat, but this will be repeated. You'll see that this repeats through the report. So it's on the 2nd floor in a four-story tenement building containing 12 flats. It's just good to know. All on one floor, of course. I mean, it makes sense from the picture, but just in case you're buying a house, it's good to know these things. Then it gives the rooms and the gross internal floor area, which is really tiny. You can tell it's quite tiny, but this could be a good metric to compare if you're looking at several flats and you want to decide between multiple flats, houses. I kind of like to look at which one's bigger or which one's smaller, depending what you're looking for. I don't know. Then it gives the district where it's located and the age of the building. So this gives really a good overview, although I tend to check this at the end of the report for some reason. I'll show you just because I think it's easier to read. Yeah, even here you can find out 19,000. For me, it's quite worrying. I don't really like to go for older buildings, but this one looks in really good condition. One thing you could do if you are buying an old tenement house, to maybe call I don't know if it's a flat, well, if it's a flat, yeah, call the housing association. That's what I would do, or the factor that is providing the amenity and taking care of the property, and they could give you more details about anything that needs repaired or everything they have repaired recently, and then you can find out what's the condition of the building. I would definitely check that just because it's an old building, so I would want to be sure. If it is a house, like, I'm sorry, I've not really done that in the past, but I'm sure you can check with the owner if they had any issues or any repairs or anything that's waiting on repairs due to the age of the property. Maybe that's a good question to ask. Then it goes into weather, roofing. Then it does tell me a bit that windows have been replaced in the past. They tell us that the doors were opened and closed where keys were available. Very helpful. Just great effort. Thanks for putting that down. Definitely feels like a copy-paste exercise they put in all possible home reports, but it shares some information about the common stairwell. Some things you might not think about, but once you read, you're like, oh, good call. And maybe you can take a note if it's something that's important to you in the future. Ask for garages or check for garages. Good to have a list of things that you care about, and the more you read home reports, the more you realize, okay, yeah, that was something that was important for me. Thank you, home report. Very kindly of you to remind me. Ceilings, internal walls, floor including subfloors. I don't understand what that means, but I suppose it's something to do with the heating that's put on the surface. But that's so cool. I just want to walk through this flat for like 30 minutes if that's possible. I'll just come visit. Internal decorations, cellars, electricity. Okay, electricity is an important one, so I make sure to read if they give me more information on electricity. Main supplies at the distribution board located in the cupboard in the entrance hall. Once again, something you might not consider when you first start looking for a flat, but where is the cupboard located? Like, I don't know if it bothers you to have it, you know, in a bedroom or somewhere where it's not really accessible or further away or be in your way. It's just good to know where it is. I think entrance hall is a good place. I like it in the entrance hall or the kitchen. It's not a huge deal, but just something to be aware of, that they sometimes mention it, or if they don't mention it, it's good to ask where it is. Accessible ones will be visually inspected, no tests carried. Okay, so no tests carried. Oh, they keep much more information. So because it doesn't seem like the testing has been very thorough on the electricity, and like will probably be the same for the gas. Yeah, the gas located in the entrance hall. They're both in the same space, and it doesn't seem like they've mentioned much more about the inspections other than being visually inspected. So those things would be something that I would ask about. A lot of the information would be in the home report, and we'll get to it in a second. But I would ask when they were installed, like for the gas central heating. So in the main page on Rightmove, you can see it has gas central heating, so you'll know that from the beginning what it includes. But I would like to know when it was installed. If the gas central heating is more than 10 years old, it will need replacing soon, so that's something to be aware of, that it's going to be an extra cost if it does need to be replaced. So it's good to know when they had it, if they had any issues with it, if they have someone doing maintenance for them. And same with electricity, I would ask when it was last checked, if they had any issues, again, who maintains it, any information like that. It's just good to know, and a lot of it will be in the home report, but if it's not, it's good questions to ask. Water, plumbing, public supply, modern white three-piece suite in the shower, visual inspections once again. Heating and hot water comes from central heating, we knew that. Drainage, okay. Fire, there are smoke alarms, okay, that's a good thing. I don't really know what they are. I think I've seen them in the picture, actually. I think there was in the kitchen, like, maybe is it this? I don't know if this is quite weird, but I would maybe check as well, like where they are and how they work or things like that. I'm asking very basic questions because I've never had a smoke alarm, so maybe I should get one. I should definitely get a smoke alarm, but that's how you learn about things. You ask about them and then you're like, good idea. In the future, I should be more cautious of these things as well. Thank you very much, sir. But now we get to the condition, which I think for me, like, this is the most important part that I check. Now we're coming to the categories part, the condition, and this is the part that I firstly check. I tend to just scroll through. I ignore all the other stuff because all the other stuff tends to be in other things, and if something's unclear, then I'll come back at the top. But this is where I will generally start. Maybe I should have just gone through it the way I would personally go to, but I wanted to take it one page at a time to not confuse you by going back and forth, because I can be quite chaotic. But on the condition, everything that's a category 1 for me, it's super good, and what I normally do is just scroll through them, and if I see anything that's not a 1, then that's the one I focus on. This one has all 1s, I think it's all 1. Can't remember. Yeah, everything's a 1, so no. And then you can also see them here in one table, which is much more convenient than scrolling through all the, but you get a bit of extra information, so it's good to also read the information you get if you are making an offer from the flat, of course. But seeing them here is like, oh my god, that's a really good flat. I don't have any tools, I don't have anything to fix. Like I said, from the pictures as well, it looked like something it's not gonna need a lot of money to put in to cover the expenses for fixing things in the flat, which is always a good saving, because you don't have to worry as much for covering with a massive emergency fund. So this makes me very happy, and I'll be like, okay, keep going, let's see for other information that I might need. Accessibility information, of course, if you need this, it's very useful to have it in the home report, but you also might want to read it even if you don't require accessibility information. If there are steps in the flat, if there's a lift to the property, it's really useful to know. With the lifts, one thing I learned is that lifts are very convenient. It's very good to have them. I was quite excited when I've seen some flats that have lifts, but apparently it tends to be that the factor fees are the ones that cover the expenses of the property. So the maintenance, the cleaning, the gardening, whatever, taking the trash, all these little things that the factor does for the property. If you have a lift, it's going to be a bit more expensive monthly. And the one I've checked was like 30 pounds more expensive monthly for maintenance of the elevator, which I don't know if that is not a big amount, but for me it was like, I never knew that. That's interesting. So I'm sharing it with you in case you need to know that if you want a lift. They're expensive. Then the door openings and toilets on the same level, and just a few other extra useful bits. Valuation and conveyance issues. This has some information about like the value of the property, so you can see like the valuation of the property is 85, so that's the market value of the property, and we remember that they were asking for 79, so it's always lower than the real value of the home report. That's just a little bit of a baiting you to check the property, because it's like, oh my god, it's so cheap, but then it's not as cheap as they show it to. I think this is still ridiculously cheap. It's a 1-bedroom flat far away from the city center, but it's still ridiculously cheap for how well it's maintained. And just so you're aware, the valuation of the property tends to be higher than the offer that they require. I'll show you a better page to check this information, because this is not my favorite page, but let's keep going. Okay, so and I think that's it. Mortgage valuation report. I think that's the part that I'm like, after I've seen everything is a 1, everything's going great, let's see the mortgage valuation report. Tell me, sir, please. And I know it doesn't look that nice, and it's not the best formatting, but I think this has a lot of information in one page, so I can see when the building was constructed. This is the page I would go straight after I see it's all good for repair categories, all is 1. I'm just gonna go here and say like, okay, it's a bit of an old building. I'm gonna have to check a little bit on the factors and if there are problems with the property or if there's anything else, and then I can see how it was, like the constructions. I don't understand this. Again, I don't really look at tenements flats, but I would Google it. Type of roof. I understand that pitched is better in Scotland because of the heavy rain, so that's good, I guess. The flat ones seem to be a bit of a flooding hazard. Then it also confirms details on central heating here, and general condition, and here, yeah, that's I think that's the gross external floor plus space. It's a bit lower because it's including like the external and the walls than the one at the top, so it's maybe better to check the internal one to just see the space you're getting. But I'd just like to scroll over here to see the market value in present condition. Again, 85. I guess it depends. You can check on whatever page you prefer to see it, here or above. It's still the same numbers, but I just prefer to go to this page. The point is to just make sure you get the market value of the property, because that's the real value, not the one that they say here offers over. And then part 3, energy report. The energy efficiency of the property. This is also really important for me. This is kind of how it looks like. This tends to also be put on Rightmove without the home report, so you might have this information. I don't know if this one has it. No, I guess this one doesn't have it, but sometimes they put like a little attachment and they put just this energy performance certificate. So the energy efficient rating is rated as C. You can see generally in Scotland tends to be D, which is the lower it is, the more expensive it is to warm up and it's losing heat. So we prefer it to have it as high as possible. And yeah, I tend to prefer like a B or a C in this area, and that's quite good. And the potential is to increase, so that's how it is currently, but you can make some changes and get it a bit higher. It's not a massive difference, but they're going to tell you what you can do to increase your energy efficiency, and that's how much you could save if you make a change in 3 years and get to their estimated potential. And this is the, how is it called, environmental impact. It also tells you like in words, very energy efficient, very environmentally friendly. It sounds very good. It's very good. Also average is D, and then it gives you some recommendation on what you could do to improve the efficiency of the flat, which I find very helpful. Like this flat seems to be okay, it's not a big difference, but it tells you can do internal and external wall insulation. The costs are quite massive, thinking you're gonna save like £159 in 3 years to put this much, but definitely something you can look into, and as long as it's keeping the house nice and cozy, maybe it's worth it. I don't know, that's your decision, but it's good to know. For some flats it can be something that's super simple. I remember one that had an attic, a flat that had an attic on the top, and they said like insulate the attic, it was like 100 to 200 pounds, like super easy, because you just put the insulation on the floor or something like that. I can't remember, to be honest, but it was pretty cheap and it was making a big saving, so I was like, okay, that's really good advice. But for this one, I don't know if it's worth it that much. And then it's also describing like the energy efficiency and environmental for each element of the house. You can see the walls are not that great because they need the insulation, but everything else seems to be doing great. Lighting, oh my god, they have good lighting, look at them. And then part 4, the property questionnaire. This is filled in by the owner. Does it say that? I can't speak and read. The owner of the property. Yeah, it's required to complete this, and it has quite a few useful information, like which council tax band is in, things to add to your list of things you should be checking when you view a property to compare against other properties. So this is a great start. Going to cover the person's name, and we're just gonna start here. And length of ownership. So this person has been in the property for 5 months. They must not know that much about the property, but like, I suppose it's a good answer of like, why are you moving so soon? Come on, tell me. Council tax A, which is the lowest in Glasgow. Now I don't know how much it is, but you can of course Google how much each council tax band is, and that's super helpful. Parking, we can see we have on the street parking. I would definitely ask where is the parking spot and if they have the right for it, or if you need to buy it separately or pay separately for it. Conservation area, no. Listed building, no. Alterations, and then that central heating, yes. Is there central heating? I want to see if they said in what year it was installed. Do you have a maintenance contract for central heating? No, so I would maybe ask as well why. Energy performance, that is, yeah, we've seen it, that's fine, but I don't know how old it is. And then it gives the information on who they have the contract with, like SEC, Scottish Water, and BT. You can change that. I don't know what's the point. Broadband Now TV, like, I don't understand why they put this in the contract, because like, you can change them. But at least you know there's a supplier that would provide if it's a remote little island, or I don't know what's the point of this. Anything else? Responsible of shared common areas? Nope. Doesn't look like she is, or he is. Oh my god. And contribute to repair? Yes. Okay. So you have a factored Yorker Housing Association. So that's what I would Google, and I would call them and ask for more details about the building and any issues or anything that needs repaired or any recent repairs. Also, one thing I would ask is on the factor fees, because I've not seen them here. Maybe they are here and we've not gotten there yet, but how much you should pay these guys for maintenance every month. And one other thing I would ask maybe is on the building insurance. What does the building insurance cover, and how much it costs to be insured in the building? Because if you get a mortgage, you will need an insurance for the flat, and if they are already insured for certain things, then maybe you can get a lower insurance personally for the contents of your flat and not have to cover everything. So I don't know exactly how it works from one place to another, but again, it's good to know and good to tell your mortgage, like, look, this is what my factor has as your building insurance. What do I need to do to cover completely to get my mortgage, or to be completely safe? And it's just good questions to ask, I suppose. Okay, and here charges associated, actually, yeah, they give them, so that's really good. So Yorker Housing Association, approximately £40 a month. That's very, very cheap. That sounds really good. Scratch that question. No need. Well, you can always confirm. I don't know. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Ask all the questions. And I think that is it. That's everything we have in the contract. It's quite a lot of information. Like, the home report really contains a lot of information. So don't be shy if you are just starting out looking for properties, to read everything and ask all the questions and take notes and continue to pester all the homeowners that you visit in your pursuit for finding your ideal home. But I really hope this was helpful, and thank you for watching. If you are looking into buying a property as a first-time buyer, please let me know if there's anything else I could share that would be helpful for you. I do have a list of future ideas for videos I would like to cover in talking about what to look for when buying a house, or things I was surprised about when looking for a property. But if this is your first time buying, please let me know as well if you have any particular questions or anything else that would be interesting for you to see, and I could look into covering it. Thank you very much for watching, and have an amazing rest of the day. See you later. Bye bye.